Welcome back to my channel. Today I will show you the recap of a movie titled See For Me. Spoiler alert. Watch out and take care. Sophie is a downhill skier who is virtually impaired. She is an award-winning skier who has several awards on her wall, but due to her blindness, she is unable to continue with her passion. As the movie starts, she sits in her room, trying to park her bag with the aid of pins on the clothes. She identifies the clothes she wants to pick using several identification modes, like pins and how the clothes are folded. She is watching the news about a skier, and she feels uncomfortable with the news, so she switches it off. She tiptoes downstairs the house, and she tries to wear her shoes silently, not to alert her mother, who is also watching the Sky News. Her mission fails when she tries to open the door, and her mother finds out she is leaving the house. Concerned about her well-being, her mother asks her where she is going, and says she won't let her leave the house unless she knows where she is going. Her mother feels something is wrong with her, and tells her she is free to confide in her, but Sophie claims she is fine. She tells her mother she is going for a job, and a taxi is coming to pick her up. Her mother tells her she saw her deposit the month before, which is about $4,500. She asks Sophie where she got that huge amount of money, claiming that no cat sitter can be paid that much. She asks Sophie if Sophie is seeing a sugar daddy or doing any other illegal business to get that money, and she tells Sophie that if she is engaging in such, then she should know it won't last long. As they travel down the mountain, she receives a call from her mother, who is concerned that she hasn't heard from her. She asks if Sophie has reached the house and asks why Sophie hasn't called her, but Sophie says she is still in the car and hasn't arrived home. Her mother tells her to check her mail and that she found an application that will help her in her daily life, but Sophie pretends like the network is bad and switches off the call. Upon arriving at the apartment, the driver offers to help her with her loads, but she hates being treated like a disabled, so she refuses his offer and struggles to enter the house. She meets the house owner, Deborah. Deborah welcomes her and introduces her to her cat Archie. Deborah tells her the key to the house's security code and also tells her the notable parts of the house. Deborah offers to show her some places in the house, but Sophie refuses, claiming that she will find the places herself. Deborah leaves the house when Sophie insists she will get her way through. After Deborah leaves, Sophie puts a collar on the cat and calls her best friend Cam, and she uses a video call to show Cam the house, and he guides her around the house. She keeps walking around until she gets to the wine store. When she enters, Cam tells her there are several wines, and she picks one. He browses out the price, and it's about $4,500, but he tells her to return it. He insists he isn't doing such business with her again, and he had warned her after their last one. Apparently, she steals wine from her clients, which explains how she got the money her mother found. Cam tells her being blind won't save her forever, and he feels guilty for helping her. He tells her she is courageous enough to steal, but she isn't courageous to keep skiing. He insists he will stop picking up her calls if she takes the wine, so she returns it and ends his call. She angrily returns to her room, where she reads her mother's email about an app called See For Me. The app helps blind people find guides around them and can help them out of difficult situations. She deletes the message and walks around the house. She receives Deborah's call, and Deborah asks her if she has switched on the security. Deborah makes her switch it on while on that call, and after ending it, Sophie decides to walk outside the house. Unfortunately, as she is about to return to the house, the door locks her out. She attempts to call Cam, but she remembers their former altercation, and she changes her mind. She decides to use the See For Me app. She installs the app, and the first guide she reaches out to is unsupportive. She ends the call, and she decides to give it another try. She reaches out to Kelly, who picks up her call. Kelly tells her to take the camera around the house, and she finds another door. She breaks inside through the door, and the emergency alarm rings. She switches off the alarm, and with Kelly's help, she gets inside the house. They talk for a while before she ends the call. She saves Kelly's number as a priority in case of another time. That night as she sleeps, some men break into the house. They disable the alarm and they go to the painting by the room and remove it. They start drilling the wall, and the sound wakes Sophie up. She stands up and walks around the house. At that time, there are 3 men in the house. They also notice that there is another person in the house. The first guy tells the guy drilling that someone is in the house, but he should continue drilling while he searches the house. At that moment, Sophie mistakenly breaks a jar, calling the man's attention. She hides and calls 911, but they tell her it will take a while as they don't know her location. She calls Kelly, who directs her as to where to put the camera. Kelly sees the men, and the men also call their boss, who tells them they should search for the person inside, as they were informed that no one would be around, and they should continue drilling. While showing Kelly the house, one of the men finds Sophie. She ends the call with Kelly, and the men hold her. They call their boss, who asks them to leave her. One of the men, Dave, the driller, is scared of getting caught, so he insists that they leave the house. But another one says before the police are around, it will be about 7 minutes, and there is no way they can finish before then. One of them suggests that they kill Sophie because she has seen them, but she begs them otherwise. She tells them she hasn't seen them and is blind. All she can see is light. Their boss tells them to leave her, but they are disturbed that the police department will soon be there. She tells them she will help them. She says she will call 911 again and tell them it was a mistake. The man asks her what's in for her in it, and she says she will get 5% of the money, and they will promise not to kill her. They refuse to believe her, so she shows them the wine she has earlier stolen to tell them she isn't a saint too. They reach an agreement, and she calls 911. She tells them it's a mistake, but they insist that as per protocol, they have to come there and confirm, and she should anticipate a police officer. The boss tells her all she has to do is pretend all is well, so she agrees. On the other hand, concerned Kelly has called 911 asking them to tail Sophie's call. They hide in the house, and the detective Brooks arrives. Before entering, Sophie tells her she is fine, and she insists on entering. When she enters, she asks Sophie if she is being threatened, but Sophie insists she is fine. After checking the house, as Brooks is about to leave, she receives another call from her colleague, who tells her about another girl, Kelly, were called to inform them about the robbery. Brooks returns to the house, then calls for backup. She tries to find the thieves, and Dave comes out, claiming he is the only one. When Brooks addresses Dave, another man comes out and attacks her. Her gun falls, and Sophie picks it up. She struggles out of the house while the thief kills Brooks. Dave continues drilling, while the other 2 men find Sophie. Sophie calls Kelly again, who directs her as she struggles towards the door. She gets out, and one of the men finds her. Kelly directs her to shoot the man, and the noise calls the attention of the second man, and Sophie successfully kills him too. She sits and speaks with Kelly, who has found out she is a skier, and she was one of the best skiers. She tells Kelly that she shouldn't be in that house, and she probably should be on the field training. Kelly asks if she could ski at a blind person, and she tells Kelly that if she has a guide, she could do it. She notices Kelly speaks like a soldier, so Kelly tells her she was on the field in Iraq, but now she is on administrative duty as a punishment. Commenting on Kelly's punishment, she tells Kelly that it's not as worst as killing a cop and confesses to Kelly that she offered to help the thieves to get a share of their money. Her phone gets low, and Kelly offers to guide her to Dave, so she will kill Dave before the phone dies. She gets to Dave and deliberates if she should kill him or not, and her phone dies. Dave claims he is leaving the house, but he takes Brooks's taser, so Sophie kills him. She picks up Dave's phone and speaks to the boss, Rico, telling him they are done. Rico enters and finds the money and the dead body. He reveals that he is Deborah's ex-husband. He tries to convince Sophie to work with him, claiming that Deborah tried to deceive the court and him, and that's why she kept the money at home and not in the bank. He claims what's stolen can't be reported stolen, so Deborah won't report them, but Sophie refuses. She switches off the electricity in the house, so he will use a touch light and she can notice him. He looks for her, and when he finds her, she tries to shoot him. The bullet in her gun finishes, and he attacks her. She overpowers him and kills him. Sometime later, on her way to the hospital, she tells her mother that she wants to continue skiing. When her mother worries about the money for equipment, she smiles and touches her bag, implying she took some money from Deborah's house. At the movie's end, Sophie goes for ski training with Cam and calls Kelly to inform her. Thanks for watching the recap. Kindly subscribe to our channel to get notified when we post the next recap. See you next time.